Using quotations to support a thesis. This video will cover using quotations to support a thesis. This will assist you when you are doing analytical writing or reading a literary text and then writing about it or breaking down your thought process. So what do writers do? When writers discuss a literary work, they track their thinking. They use direct quotes to highlight specific parts of a book or text that influence that thinking. Now, this process most resembles the ACE method, where A or answer would be substituted for your thesis or the thing that you are trying to explain or prove. The citations used in your text or the citations used in your paper or essay must prove or support your opinion of the text. We will be using a kernel essay structure for this writing, and this structure is for describing a character. So it has 4 boxes. You know, we always start our kernel essay structure with boxes or 4 main sentences. The first box says, this character is. This is where you will put your description of the character or your thesis for that character. The second box says, one way we know, and this is where you will fill in your quote and your explanation of that quote. The third box says another way we know, and you will also fill that in with your quote and your explanation. The last box says these all add up to show us this. So this is where you will conclude your essay and you will show how all of those quotes prove that thesis that you had in your first box or that description that you had in your first box. So this is a student model of a student using quotations to support a thesis. And of course, they follow that kernel essay structure. So we're going to go through and look at an example of how this was done properly. Now, they are writing about the text or the story of the animal farm, which you guys are familiar with. You just saw the clip on the previous slide. So we're going to go through and I'll be underlining that thesis and those supports and explanations that we're going to incorporate in our own writing. Squealer as the trickster archetype in Animal Farm. And an archetype is just a model character such as the beautiful princess or the dashing knight. The text says, in Animal Farm by George Orwell, Squealer is a typical trickster archetype. In the novel, a farm is taken over by overworked, mistreated animals. The animals set out to form a utopia of progress, justice, and equality. Through Squealer's archetype of the trickster, Orwell shows that manipulation can be used for power and control. So this is, in essence, their whole entire thesis in this essay that they're writing, but they're mainly setting out to prove that Squealer is a typical trickster archetype. So they're going to be proving that he is a trickster, someone who tricks you, who manipulates you. And in their own words, he manipulates them for power and control. The next paragraph says Squealer fits every attribute of a trickster. Squealer was such a brilliant talker that the others declared that he could turn black into white. This example shows that Squealer can make you believe what he wants you to believe. He then goes on to tell the other animals that it is for your sake that we drink the milk and eat those apples. This shows that he makes the others believe that he cares for them. Both of these examples prove that Squealer is a trickster. He feels so smart that he can control what the others think and do. Okay, so again, they've set out to prove or support that thesis with these quotes, and they've used 2 that I see right away. It says, he could turn black into white. And for sake of not writing over the text, I'm just going to underline that first word. And they go on to explain, it says, this example shows. The next quote they use, it says, it is for your sake that we drink that milk and eat those apples. And then they go on again to explain. Okay, so this is why I say it mostly resembles the open-ended response questions where we use the ACE strategy. You can see clearly where they have cited the text in quotation marks, and then they've used those sentence stems that you guys should be familiar with, such as this example shows and this shows and things such as that. So the next paragraph says Squealer's character fits the theme that manipulation can be used for power and control. When talking to the other animals, Squealer states that Comrade Napoleon would be only too happy to let you make your own decisions for yourselves. But sometimes you make the wrong decision, comrades, and then where should we be? This example shows that Squealer manipulates the others into thinking that he knows best. He then goes on and states, surely, comrades, you do not want Jones back. This shows that he appeals to the animals' gut instincts and prejudices. He justifies decisions by telling them that the pigs want to break the way of Jones. Both examples prove that Squealer manipulates the other animals into believing that they are making the decisions when it is truly the pigs. So again, let's go through and kind of underline those quotes that they pulled out to prove that thesis that Squealer is an archetype and that he uses manipulation. We can see this quote right here where he says he would only be too happy to make your own let you make your own decisions. And then the next one says, surely, comrades, you don't want Jones back. Okay, they also use those sentence stems again where it says this example shows. Okay, the other one that they use says, this shows. The last paragraph says Squealer is so selfish and power hungry that he is willing to bend reality to suit his interests. He gets what he wants through coaxing and treachery. Squealer does this through exploitation, which can be used to bully and demean others. A classic characteristic of the trickster archetype. A perfect ending. So they just summed up exactly what they proved throughout that essay and even pretty much restated that thesis that he is a trickster and a classic archetype of the trickster, and he uses that manipulation to to get power and to control others. A perfect example. Now, students, it's your turn. You're going to be reading the short story, A Cup of Tea by Catherine Mansfield. From the story, you're going to choose a character to describe. Be sure that you have a clear thesis. The example used in our model text was that Squealer is described as a typical trickster archetype. Be sure to support your thesis with quotes from the text. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below.